Hey everybody, this is Ozark Prepper 1, and I wanted to make this video because to understand where I'm coming from, you almost have to be in a similar mindset. Maybe not, but sometimes I talk about things and it offends some people and it goes over their head, or they try to understand where I'm coming from and they think, well, maybe this guy, I'm not no kid, I'm older, but maybe this guy's lost his marbles, or he doesn't know anything, and I don't know everything. I probably don't know most things, but I'm smart enough to know that I don't know. But what I wanted to get at is information in this whole world is compartmentalized. And even these people that are in clubs, depending on what level of the club they're in, the information they are given is only a certain amount. And the guy out at the bottom in any club doesn't know any more than a guy out on the street. The only thing he knows how to do is communicate with his buddies in the club. That's it. But information is compartmentalized everywhere, in everything. You know, we are told certain things to a certain amount, and that's it. And then we have to decipher it ourselves. We have to learn to read between the lines. We need to know if we're being deceived or not. You know, deception comes in many forms, and one of the main ways we are deceived is they do something, you know, in our view, try to make it look like they're doing something good, when in reality they're doing something very harmful. They're doing something that's going to harm us or take from us. And the biggest thing they take from us is our time and our labor and our energy, our human energy. You know, you wake up in the morning and you go out to start your day, and you have plans when you get home. They make sure you're too tired when you get home because they took that energy during the day and they gave you the crumbs to live on. And then they give a certain other sect of society a larger sum of money simply because they are a one-trick pony and they learned one thing at a college or a university of some kind. They learned one little trick, and all that trick is a one-trick pony. Well, we live in a time where there almost seems to be an equal amount of impoverished people as there are very wealthy people, but there's nobody in the middle. You can drive through large subdivisions of wealthy people and see them just keep growing and growing. But you can also drive through impoverished areas and you see those areas growing and growing. But there's no working class living next to this snooty business class type people. You know, your next door neighbor's not super wealthy and you're not wealthy in most cases. It's usually they stick to their self. And it's a form of arrogance. It's arrogance. And I don't know when that began. I mean, it's always been around before. We've had an aristocratic structure, and some people, but there were people back in the day that were humble, and you didn't know their wealth. You didn't know how much they had. You know, their financial prowess, whatever they had in the bank, whatever they had in their retirement and their assets. Because they lived in a nice little home just like your family did. And they were quiet about it, but they were there if you needed them. They were still humble. You met them at the same church you went to. You looked forward to hanging out. You barbecued, got together, went swimming together when you were younger with the kids and stuff, you know, that. And in the 70s and 80s, I remember, you know, getting dropped off at a friend's house. The friend's rich, we're not, but you can't tell. Or that friend would get dropped off at our house by their rich parents. And they didn't have a second thought. Well, now it seems like things are segregated. Like it's not segregated by race, it's more segregated by income. And to see people, you know, visibly see the economy is going down. Eventually the market is going to go down. It has no other way to go. And these people are still arrogantly buying things. They're buying giant things, giant homes that are ridiculous. No one needs a home that's a castle in this day and age, especially when we're I don't know, some people say we're not overpopulated, but I believe we are. You know, in certain areas we are for sure. In the Western world, we are overpopulated. And I would say China is definitely overpopulated, but you take a country like Russia, they have 150 million people or so. And in the United States, a rather young nation, we have double that. More than double that. Now, how do you expect, given resources versus population, to last as a prosperous people? You can't. And to give you an analogy, take a fishbowl and keep dumping fish in it and keep dumping feed in it. Eventually what's going to happen? They're going to be swimming in their own feces, and they're going to be eating each other. And that's basically what's happening. Definitely happening in our urban areas and the areas that surround it. And this last eclipse was a great example of an overpopulated area. There were people that were probably on the road for hours and hours just to get one state away. They were probably on the road for 10 hours or more, stuck in traffic. But with all the waste it creates, and the lack of morals it creates, because the more you have of something, the less you value each individual item. Same with people. The more people you have, the less you value each individual person. And Eastern countries are very evident of that situation, because they have one of the highest, capital punishment rates of anywhere in the world. And it's not just a moral issue, it's more of a resource issue. They don't have the resources to keep just feeding people locked in a cage. so they put that person down. I don't know. Anyway, it's just a random thought I had. Information is compartmentalized. People don't understand things, so they take offense to it. Anyway, y'all have a great next week. Ozark Prepper 1 out.